There we go. Hello, world. Good morning. It's November 4th. That's funny because I think I just put November 3rd on the video, Mika. So hello from the past. Um, Last week we had the
Mm.
leader. It was a busy week last week, or it felt like a new community being formed, which always gives me, the little nerves. How did the leader show up for all of you last week? Leading from the heart.
In every way possible for me, to be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah. You had a full house too.
Internally, I think I had mentioned when we first pulled the card, just thinking about leading, like how that applies to me personally, like internally,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and a lot
Mm-hmm.
of it was done externally too, with our kickoff of the first couple of sessions for our Facilitators Academy for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And just kind of keeping one foot in front of the other during those sessions. A lot of folks who are solo or entrepreneurs, we're talking about the day-to-day and things that they have experienced, right? Many of
Mm-hmm.
them are up and coming business, or not up and coming, but emerging business owners and whatnot. And I found myself giving a lot of pause when they were sharing, because we're 8+ years into this and we're still experiencing things they're talking about experiencing at the front end. So it's just confirmation that um practice makes better, you know
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
there's no such thing as perfect in that regard, and there's no possible way anybody could know it all. So just applying that to my definition of leadership, um
Mm-hmm.
that, yeah, that you can't know until you know, and maybe just remaining committed to education, ongoing education, I suppose,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that was me.
Nina, how about you?
Um, I shared at the top of the week when you pulled it, Emily, that I was hoping to be like a leader in sort of those nuanced or hidden moments. And I actually think it showed up very differently this week. I think if I'm really answering it honestly, I found myself observing like everyone else's leadership last week,
Mm,
really appreciating you all for your individual strengths. I think Mika knows the ways in which she's been leading on so many fronts, many of which I've been privy to and I've been benefiting from. So I honor that
mm,
in her. And for you, like, even though I had to log off, it was so cool to watch you start to shine as you always do with the academy. And like, it's just one of my favorite places to watch you do your thing. It's always so fun
mm,
when you're in, the company of new people or other people doing your magic. And
mm,
even that, like, you've stepped up as such a leader since joining us on the board, and there were moments in Slack, where you were comfortable speaking up, saying, hey, what's the deal, what's going on, just checking in, like, were people supposed to be here, yes or no? And those are really critical ways in which people lead. So I actually think I took more of a backseat last week. It's been humbling as someone who likes to be a leader or helping to move things forward. But it's a different season for me right now, I think.
mm.
And I'm embracing
I
it.
think, yeah. So the little quote is, I lead from the heart. And in the same, I think there's one that we have that's about connection. And it's like you have to connect to yourself and to source before you connect to others.
Yeah.
And so like as you're taking care of yourself and maybe, spending some solo time to do that,
Mm.
you are still kind of talking to yourself. I don't know. I've got like a ongoing monologue,
Yeah.
right? Or it's really a dialogue because I am talking to myself in my head a
Yeah.
lot. And like it's an opportunity to lead yourself too. Like, how would you talk to a friend? How would you talk to, your peers? How would you
Yeah.
talk to somebody you loved?
Oh, it's been so humbling. I mean, life is always easy when it's going the way you expect or would like it to, and all the cards make sense. They have their common common meanings. You feel like you see rightly with the
Mm-hmm.
world, and it's just been so different lately, but it's been this weird, inexplicable positive, even though I would love for all this health stuff to be done that I've been dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there has been something very teachable about it. So I'm remaining open to receiving the lessons and still trying my hardest. But I honor everybody else's leadership and maybe the hidden ways that I'm trying to lead myself right now.
Yeah. Thanks, Nina. How about you, Pat?
Last week ended up being such a blur of task execution that I'm gonna say it didn't feel like I engaged in a lot of leading, but certainly watched, certainly what Nina said about watching you lead the academy. And I think for me right now, what's coming to mind is a reflection of, I mean, I appreciate especially Nina vocalizing that I'm on this board now and stepping into sort of a leadership role, but it doesn't feel like it's, for me, I feel like I have experience and some knowledge and some good problem solving intuition, and that I just like to show up and make it available for people to access. um and some of that comes from the fact that I'm a like-minded spirit to begin with Swell. And one of my favorite quotes, which may be a manufactured quote, it's at the heading of one of the chapters of, it's Ursula K. Le Guin, and I think it might be Left Hand of Darkness. It's been a while, but anyway, the quote is, "There go the people, and I shall follow them, for I am their leader." The
I love
lead
that.
from behind, and as we used to say all the time in ATN, lead with love. So what I guess I'm saying is sometimes what people experience from me as leadership doesn't feel like leadership to me. It just feels like offering.
Well,
So
that's beautiful.
that's what I got.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, I'm glad to be on the receiving end of your offering. Thank you. Okay, let's see what's
What
up for
about you,
this week.
Ashley? Or
Yeah,
did you
how about
already
you?
share?
Oh,
Okay, I
let
was
me
like, oh.
not mess up my count. Um, I think I so love the opportunity to, be in community and talk about the juicy stuff that we talked about, Thursday and Friday at the beginning of the Facilitators Academy. Like I love it so much. And I learned so much as people have new ahas or make new connections or share some experience that, one of these principles kind of showed up in, or, some real life experience that illustrates the principles. And I love it so much. And then I also am really thinking about like what it takes to sustain that space holding and that kind of thing. And so it was almost like perfect the way things lined up though, because my one of my sources is definitely like a connection to my ancestors and ancestral practices and learning about that and discovering that or whatever. So that Saturday was Dia de los Muertos, and I did this work with my friend doing that ancestral healing stuff. I feel deeply connected to source and really well resourced in a way that I haven't in a long time. I've been kind of maybe faking it a little, just the fake it till you make it kind of thing. Like if I just keep showing up, I'm going to find the groove or whatever. And it really feels like I'm finally finding the groove. And I also recognize that sometimes pebbles, you come across pebbles in your grooves, sometimes here and there, or the tracks get a little rusty, da, 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 da. So I'm not, I'm trying to not have this experience and be, deluded into thinking that, oh yeah, found it, done. So um I'm really going to soak it up while I'm feeling it so that I can connect with this feeling when I need it again. Just the memory that it's here. So I don't know. I guess all that to say, like, this business of leading with the heart and leading with love, really just trying to make those things the North Star. Because like the reason that I like love the conversations that we had on Thursday and Friday wasn't because like, oh, I get to shine and talk about the things or whatever, but like I honestly I am overwhelmed with love for these people as they're sharing their experience and talking about the things and making connections, and like to be able to experience that with them and talk about these things that I love so much and see, that they love it too. I just feel like it's like falling in love.
Mm.
I hope that's not weird. Don't call HR on me.
Not weird.
Butterflies and all that. So, anywho, I think we're on 3. Let's see what's this week. Oh, that's the one. The
Wow.
visionary.
Mm.
The world is filled with possibilities. This is perfect for strategic planning week, by the way. We're inventive, we're expansive, we're wise, insightful, enthusiastic, curious, courageous, philanthropic, imaginative, knowledgeable, conceptual, inspired, idealistic, benevolent, and humble.
Mm.
Wow. Anybody have any thoughts about that for this week? I feel like we haven't gotten this, at least not recently.
I will say the first thing I thought of was not all visionaries are humble, but I like it. I like it when they are.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's the shadow of this. The visionary is hubris,
Totally.
overexpansion, overly idealistic, lack of action, and perfectionism.
Mm.
Those are the shadows.
That all sounds right.
Yeah. As a visionary, you absorb information from the world, intuitively process it, and intellectually express your ideas. You have an enlightened perspective and excel at anything that truly interests you. Our action plan is to tap into divine guidance, wisdom, and knowledge for a higher vision of greater good for the world. We stay committed to bring our vision to fruition.
Love that. I mean,
Any thoughts?
I think you were right to say it's so easy to connect it. I mean, obviously it feels super related to doing strategic planning this week. I think also I'm gonna take it as a challenge to remain open to how we choose to modify our schedule and like keep the intuitive adjusting going, like see the path forward through all of the considerations, some of which have probably yet to be surfaced, right? Like a plan is only as good as it actually reflects what everybody needs from it. So I think in calibration, I'm going to remind myself of this card, and that we will continue to make this what it needs to be. But yeah, it feels very related, kind of obviously, to strategic planning this week. So yeah, I'm gonna take it kind of literally, personally.
All right. Micah?
I'm marinating on it.
Frozen?
I don't have any immediate thoughts on it. I did want to see the design on the card though.
So they're sitting on a rock, looking out to sea. It could be sunset or sunrise, maybe. Or is that a mushroom? Maybe it's a big mushroom. Hey, Micah loves a mushroom.
That would be right up my alley. Yeah. Yeah, it has me in just kind of in contemplative mode. I mean, kind of like the imagery, I suppose, Yeah, I think I gotta let it sink a little.
Okay. How about you, Pat?
Well, again, obvious card pick for kicking off strategic planning for this organization. And also for me, I mean, that is why I'm here. Like, I am doing things with this group, with Democracy Without Elections, with my local communities, to do everything I can to point, to help the direction flow towards communities that manage and share resources and caretake each other through citizens assembly processes that are facilitated with this kind of facilitation. Like, that's the world that I think we need to trend towards, back to the SOC book and all the other things. So I like, that is a lodestar for me, and has been really since I met you. And those two things kind of, well, I won't say they fused, because at that time I was a parliamentarian. Now I'm a citizens assembly person. Although they're similar, but like seeing like, oh, we bring this to that and eliminate a lot of other things that are autocratic and greedy, and the world may become a truly wonderful place. It may take us hundreds of years to get all the way there, but I'm I love that. And then personally for myself, just making sure I make it through the next 5 or 10 years, so that I've set myself up, caretaking myself and my family financially, and able then at some point during that period to really be able to afford to do all of this work all the time. That's my vision for myself.
All right. Well, since it's your vision, it's our vision together, right? Like, I think that's important for us to note too. It's like we're building a collective vision for this organization, but I'm sure we all have a vision for our own role in it as well. And like how we see ourselves in 5 or 10 years or whatever. And I think that's great. Like, they both support each other, and I want to do both. Support,
Yes.
you know.
Yes, yes, and
Yes, and exactly. Well, cool. That's what I'm feeling. I'm ready to rock and roll. It's not Rocktober anymore for me. I don't know what I'm gonna call November. John's
yes,
doing
Vember.
no nonsense. Yes, November. Yes,
Yes,
Vember.
Vember.
Yes, Vember. All right, I like that.
That's
Perfect.
cute.
Came out of thin
Yes,
air.
sir. Oh, look at that. Look at that. How creative and filled with possibilities he's showing us right now. All right. All right, y'all.